Hello everyone, great to have you tuning in with us from wherever and whenever you're doing so. This evening is the last of our little midweek moments series going through the Psalms, trying to learn some of their lessons. Next week, instead, we're going to be having a little thought each evening, each day as we journey to the cross and as we come to Good Friday, as we come to Easter. But for today, let's finish up our midweek series as we come and learn the greatest lesson that there is from the Psalms and how they show us Jesus. In the Psalms, we see Jesus and Jesus speaks. And if that's the case, then we need to learn to see, to look, and to listen. Out of all the things that we've talked about that the Psalms do, and all that the Psalms are for God's people, this is the most important thing. And it's the thing that so often we can miss. Isn't it right that Jesus actually is the person that we so often miss? Not just in the Psalms, but as we go through the whole of the Bible. But we can't miss him. We can't miss him in his word, and we can't miss him in the Psalms. And the Psalms actually start by pointing to Jesus. Jesus is the gateway. He's the door through which we walk, through which we have to come to get into the Psalms. If you take time to read Psalm 1, you'll read of this blessed man and all that he's described as. And our temptation as we read the likes of Psalm 1 is to read that psalm as instructive and prescriptive, as if that psalm's telling us about how to be the blessed man, to be this blessed person. But the psalm is actually descriptive, and it's telling us about the one who is the blessed man. It's telling us who he's like, what he does. And that description, it really only fits one person. So Psalm 1 introduces us to this person who loves God's word and lives by it. And then as we go on, we come to Psalm 2, and Psalm 2 identifies that person as the king God has set on the throne. The word that we have to look at and grasp in Psalm 2 is anointed. The word which in Hebrew is Messiah and Greek is Christ. That's only ever talking about one person, really. It's talking about Jesus. And how this psalm is used in the New Testament by the writers there tells us, gives us confidence that this psalm is about Jesus. But it's not only these psalms, it's the whole book of Psalms. I like what James Johnson writes in his commentary in the Psalms. He says this: in a real sense, the rest of the book of Psalms is about this king, his kingdom, and his people. What will happen to God's king? Will life be easy, or will he have trouble? What will his enemies do? How will God protect him and give him victory? What will happen to his people? Will their lives be easy and hard? Will the world finally follow this king? The promise of a king in Psalm 2 is a key for understanding the whole book of Psalms. Fundamentally, this book is about Christ. It's about Jesus. You see, though David speaks, or Moses, or Asaph, the voice that we're really meant to hear and the person that we're really meant to see as we work through the Psalms is Jesus. And if that's the case, well, then we need ears to hear and eyes to see. And we need to be opening our eyes and our ears to look out for and listen for him as we work our way through these words. As you go through the Psalms, the question that you should be constantly asking yourself is, where is Jesus here? We're on our way to the cross for another year. And in the coming days, as we come right up to the cross, we'll hear the words of Psalm 22 as they come from Jesus' lips. As he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Like so many of the words that come from David's lips in the Psalms, he only knows them in part. David only knows those words in part, not fully. But Jesus comes to know them fully. He feels them. He fulfills them. For Psalm 22 verse 1, Jesus feels the full weight of sin's separation, a weight which David and us as God's children never have to experience. We never have to experience that because of the King who has come, who has gone to the cross, and who has conquered. You have to recognize that unless we see the words of the likes of Psalm 22 coming true on the tongue of Jesus from his lips, we'll actually miss the truth that they tell us. As you turn open the pages of the Psalms, I really do hope that you'll learn the lessons that we've looked at together. But more than that, I hope that even some of those lessons, if they fade or if you forget them, that you'll remember this one. That in the Psalms, you hear Jesus speak. And if it's Jesus speaking, we should listen and learn. In the Psalms, we see Jesus for who he is. And if he's showing us himself, we should look and see and follow. The Psalms, they're about grief, prayer, thankfulness, remembering, turning, death and life, and a whole host of other things. But the Psalms are about Jesus. And that's a lesson we all need to learn. So may God give us his Spirit, and may his Spirit give us eyes to see and ears to hear. To see and to hear Jesus as he speaks and as he shows us himself in and through the Psalms. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.